How's it going, everybody? I'm Lewis, and we've got a massive update from Old School RuneScape team. This is the Chambers of Xeric, also known as raids. So what might we find in a raid? First of all, there will always be at least one boss. There are several that we know so far, including Tecton here. During the fight with the boss, you'll earn points towards your final reward. This should make everyone work hard to make sure the team gets good total points so the rewards improve. As well as bosses, there'll also be the main dungeon, the labyrinth of areas with skill challenges, resupply areas and monsters to kill. From these areas you can use skills to gather resources, such as food and potions, to help you kill the boss. For the mightiest of adventurers, down in the deepest layers of the chamber awaits the Great Olm. Defeat this beast and you'll receive plenty of rewards. As well as all the skilling and combat content, they've added a whole lot of lore to keep interested players reading about the game. So if you want to know a lot more about the Chambers of Xeric, all the little things inside of the Chambers of Xeric, including all the bosses, then I believe there's a lot of content you'll be able to find there. One key aspect of these raids is not only do they scale with the enormous teams you can create, but they can also adjust themselves to keep the gameplay interesting, which seems to be a good advantage over other raids such as in RuneScape 3 and Dungeoneering. Parties can have up to 100 players, so these raids could be huge and very interesting to play through. I remember doing Dungeoneering with like 5 people, and that seemed fun, but it wasn't a huge raid like this. To join a raid, head to Mount Quidamortum on the eastern side of Xea. There are recruitment boards which you can browse to see parties to join, and if you want to set up your own party, just use the recruitment board to do so. If you complete these raids, then you can get your hands on some great rewards, including the Dragon Claws, which are a vicious tier 60 weapon for melee, the Ancestral Robes, which is a new tier of offensive level magic robes requiring level 75 magic and 65 defense to use. They're non-degradable and provide the user an additional 2% magic damage increase per piece. The Twisted Bow, which changes its accuracy and strength based on your opponent's magical bonus, making it useful against certain high-level NPCs. The Twisted Buckler, which should be a more powerful version of the Odium Ward, requiring level 75 range and defense to use. Din's Bulwark, which is the two-handed shield, requiring level 75 defense and attack to equip. Surprisingly, no strength requirement. This will be a very interesting item because it's so different from what's been in Old School before. Next, the Dragon Hunter Crossbow, which provides a 10% damage and accuracy bonus against dragons, requiring level 75 range to use. There are the Dragon and Infernal Harpoons, which are equipable tools for fishing, requiring level 70 attack and 75 fishing to use. The Dragon Harpoon increases the likelihood of catching fish by 20%, and the Infernal Harpoon, created with the Smouldering Stone, has a 1 in 3 chance of consuming a fish when caught, providing the user with a small amount of cooking experience. After 5,000 fish, the Infernal Harpoon becomes uncharged and you must either use a Smouldering Stone or a Dragon Harpoon on it to recharge it. The Elder Maul is a new, slow, hard-hitting and accurate crush weapon requiring level 75 attack and strength to use. The Kodai Wand is a high-level magic weapon requiring level 75 magic to equip, as well as providing unlimited water runes and a 15% chance of negating rune costs. On top of that, it can auto-cast ancient magic, so if you want to easily cast a lot of spells such as Ice Barrage, this wand will be required. Next, the Dragon Throwing Axe requires level 61 range to use, the Dragon Sword, which requires level 60 attack, and the 3 Forgotten Prayers, which are Preserve, requiring level 55 prayer, and will boost your stats for 20% longer. Rigor, which requires 74 prayer, and boosts your range attack by 20%, range strength by 23%, and defense by 25%. And Augury, which requires level 77 prayer, and boosts magic accuracy by 25% and defense by 25%. On top of that, Rigor and Augury both require level 70 defense to use. In other news this week, the Deadman mode anti-PJ timer has been reverted to a previous version whereby players cannot be attacked in single-way areas if they have recently been attacking another player. This applies to both the seasonal worlds and the permanent worlds. The number of seasonal Deadman worlds have been reduced since their initial release, and the Christmas event has been closed. Reward items that have been unlocked can be retrieved from Diango as usual if you lose them, and for players who didn't unlock them this year, they'll be made available next year if you complete the Christmas event. Not long after this update, they've released several fixes and feedback changes, as well as announced some plans for some future updates. First of all, they're simplifying and speeding up the skilling tasks in the Chambers of Xeric. They've changed farming, so a number of herbs yielded from patches now scales based on the party size, and picking herbs with a full inventory will make the freshly picked herbs just drop to the floor. They also plan to patch farming even more in a future update, so for now, sit tight. They've improved the fishing spots by making them give all the different types of fish based on your fishing level. And Hunter has been improved because only the highest tier bats were originally spawning, but now they all spawn properly. They've also tweaked the dynamic scaling a little bit, so bigger parties can have more fun. They're not going into specifics, but in general it should be a lot easier for large parties to manage themselves. They've rebalanced the two bosses Tecton and the Ice Demon, making them a little bit more dangerous, because apparently they weren't killing enough players. Another future update we'll see is the storage chests inside of raid dungeons. There will be 3 tiers, requiring increments of 30 construction to create. And they'll store double the amount of items. So level 30 construction allows 250 items. At level 60 there will be a storage chest that lets you put in 500 items. And at level 90 construction you'll be able to store up to 1000 items. Of course, constructing one of these chests will require some planks and a hammer, so these will be dropped by the monsters within raids. Additionally, Iron Men will be able to deposit things into these chests, but won't be able to withdraw anything. Another future update we'll see will be the Chambers of Xeric teleport. This will be added as an untradeable enchantment rewards specifically from raids. And the final raids update that we should be seeing soon will be the Kodai wand being replaced with the Kodai enchantment. This happened because they actually originally implemented the wrong poll, because they've had God knows how many polls for raid rewards. It was ridiculous the amount of polls they had, and they had even more developer blocks. So I understand them getting it a little bit mixed up. What happened was they were meant to be dropping Kodai enchantments, which you would use with a master wand to create the Kodai wand. However, what they actually did release was just the Kodai wand. So soon, you won't be able to get Kodai wands from raids, you'll only get Kodai enchantments. However, I believe that if you currently have a Kodai wand, you'll get to keep it, saving you the time and money of getting yourself a master wand, and just to use it with a weapon you've been using already. Finally, we've got the other tweaks. The delay preventing you from performing certain actions following a Dragon Claw special attack has been removed. It's no longer possible to log out within the Olm room in order to drop supplies without losing points. And farming patches were occasionally not being visually updated when they progress the state. This should no longer be the case. There is a lot of content in these updates here, so I suggest jumping in, trying it all out for yourself. You never know, you could be looking at an interesting drop from one of these rewards. Personally, I think it would be very interesting to see how the ancestral robes will fit in the game, along with Din's Bulwark, because that's a very different type of item that we've never really had in Old School RuneScape before. This is a very interesting start to the year. If you want to watch my video on the updates in 2016, please click here for my 2016 review. And if you want to watch my latest Old School RuneScape video, please click here for the Christmas event 2016. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and share, and if you want to keep up to date with the Old School RuneScape updates, stat box and polls, please subscribe. I've been Lewis, thanks for watching, goodbye.